I once again welcome you to MSP lecture series on main group chemistry. In my last lecture, I was discussing about the writing MO diagram for heterodiatomic molecules. So, let me continue from where I had stopped. So, let me write MO diagram for CO2 molecules. You do not often come across the MO diagrams in standard textbooks for molecules such as CO2, BH3, H2O and all those things. At most you may see MO diagrams for NO, CO and not beyond that one. So, that is the reason I am giving you some triatomic or polyatomic molecules and explaining their bonding and analyzing from both valence bond point of view, VSEPR theory point of view as well as molecular orbital diagram, and this can clearly give the idea about which one is more refined, which one is more informative. Of course, there is no doubt that molecular orbital theory gives the complete picture of a molecule including its reactivity, everything. So, let me continue with writing MO diagram for CO2. Okay. Okay. So, now let me consider here 2px and 2py. Okay. And then this is for carbon. Okay. And then I am considering for oxygen by G by U. You may be wondering what is this one. So, it is essentially okay. This is anti-bonding, this is bonding. So, bonding is Garrad, whereas anti-bonding is symmetric. So, Garrad, that is the reason this subscript is coming here, and this is the combination of two px orbitals. Similarly, I will write combination of 2 py orbital. I have omitted pz because pz is involved in making sigma bond. So, I am just omitting that part, that is similar to most of the molecules we come across. So, here combination of two p y orbital. Okay, so, both represent O here. Okay. And now, this is for CO2. Let me write here MO. The first one will be here. This is pi u, two of them, and then we have here almost non-bonding because pi, this is both are pi u. So, that this remains as non-bonding, and now let me write here pi u to connect them. Okay. So, now we have to put these 8 electrons here. Okay. So, this is the MO diagram for CO2 here. This is for oxygen, this is for CO2. Okay. So, one should be able to write a simplified MO diagram for CO2 in this fashion. So, now let me write MO diagram for another interesting molecule BF3, okay. And BF3 is a Lewis acid, very strong Lewis acid. Of course, it is not stronger compared to BCl3. So, those things also we can analyze after writing the MO diagram. And while writing MO diagram, I mentioned that to minimize complications, all ligand orbitals are put together and considered as ligand group orbitals. So, now we have to consider B boron atom combining with 3 fluorine atoms, and each fluorine is coming with 2s and 2p 4 orbitals. So, total of 12 orbitals are coming from fluorine and 4 orbitals are coming from boron. And now, these 12 fluorine orbitals are together called ligand group orbitals. So, this one should remember all the time. So, here what we have is 2p and then 2s, and then here we have ligand group orbital are considered. Total there are 12 are there. Okay, so these are all called ligand group orbitals. I had already mentioned how we are taking 12 here. So, each F has 2s and 2p, that is 1, 1, 1, 1, 4 orbitals are there, and 4 into 3f are there. So, 3 we will get totally 12 atomic orbitals from fluorine are participating in making BF3 molecule. Okay. So, while writing MO diagram, we are considering 12 fluorine atomic orbitals and 4 boron atomic orbitals. A total of 16 atomic orbitals are involved in writing MO diagram for BF3. Out of this one, let us start writing, and I would tell you about those. The first one is here. So, this is boron atomic orbital 2p and 2s, and here F3 fragment. Okay. So, here the first one, and then we have 2, and then we have 1 here, and then here we have 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are essentially coming from here, and they are essentially 8, and then we have 1 here and 2 here and 1 here. Okay. So, this is A1 prime, and this is E prime, and this is A2 double prime, and this is non-bonding, and then A2 double prime star, and similarly E prime star, and then A1 star. Okay. So, now, so A1, so this one is A1, and we are 2px. Let me write here. First let me write here A2 prime and E prime and A1 prime and A1 prime. So, this is A1 prime is already I have given here. So, A1 prime I have given 2s, and this is Pz, and this is together Px and Py. Okay. So, this is how it is. 2p has two type of orbitals, Px and Py. forming E prime, whereas A2 double prime is PZ. So, now let me start connecting wherever it is there. So, A1 okay, and then A1 here, and of course, all of them should be connected here, and E, and then E comes here, and A1 comes here, and comes here, and A1 is also, E1 goes here, E1 goes here. So, this is the MO diagram writing is completed. So, now we have to write the electrons, we have to fill them. We know that we have here 2s2, 2p1, we have 3 electrons are there, 3 electrons are there. Here we have about 5 plus 7, 21 electrons are there, 21 electrons are there. From each one we have 7 electron s2p5. So, out of that one electron comes here. So, 3, if it is something like this. So, this essentially makes covalent bond with this one. So, we have like this 6 electrons. This 6 electrons whatever I have written, it represents the BF3 molecule. Okay. So, now there is a small magnitude of pi bonding is there with one of the fluorine atoms. So, those 2 electrons will come here. So, due to this one, what happens now, BF3 has is 8 electrons, and also it has a pseudo octet electronic configuration. So, these 2 electrons are essentially coming from one of the pi orbitals of the 2px or 2py. So, that comes as a result. What happens now, we have 8 electrons, otherwise it will be very simple. It will be like having sp2 hybridization and 3 sp2 having 1 electron each of boron interacting with 2p orbitals to form 3 covalent bonds. Whereas here the 4th pair here, this is due to the pi bonding from fluorine to boron, that gives a pseudo octet electronic configuration to remove its electron deficiency. For this region, it is slightly less Lewis acidic compared to BCl3. Such provision is not there in BCl3. Now, remaining 8 occupied molecular orbitals there. 8 occupied molecular orbitals there, okay, with essentially non-bonding character. They are essentially non-bonding character. Okay, so, they are essentially non-bonding character, that is the reason they are not interacted with any of the boron orbitals. We do not have a suitable symmetry one. So, they remain. So, that means now 8 means essentially we should have 16 electrons. So, we should account for now 16 electrons. Let me go back to the Lewis dot structure here for BF3. So, let me write again Lewis dot structure for BF3. So, 3 electrons we have used now. We had 2s2, 2p1, 3 electrons I have used for making the bonds, and now remaining electrons I write like this. Okay. So, total, because octet is satisfied for fluorine also, 2, 4, 6 and 8, 2 electrons, 2, 4, 6 and 8, 2, 4, 6 and 8. Now, one of the lone pair has gone through pi bonding. So, now how many electrons are left now? We shall count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 means 16, 8 pairs. 8 pairs, that is 16 electrons now. Okay. So, these 16 electrons essentially occupy here these 8 orbitals. Okay. So, again very clearly, if you have any doubt in your mind that how we have 8 orbital here, of course, total of ligand group orbitals are 12. Okay. 3 p orbitals and 1 s orbital, that means 4 orbitals coming from each fluorine into 3 times 12 orbitals. Out of 12, 4 are participating here, okay, and 4 are participating here. 4 bonding molecular orbital and 4 anti-bonding molecular orbital. Remaining 8 will be non-bonding molecular orbital. Essentially whatever the electrons are there, unutilized electrons of the 2p, they remain here, these 16 electrons. So, total of 16 plus 8, 24 electrons. 24 electrons we have actually, if we count the total electrons here, this is 21 plus 3. 21 electrons are coming from 3 fluorine atoms and 3 electrons are coming from boron. We have a 24 electrons. All these 24 electrons are accounted in this MO diagram. Okay. Although it appears like complicated, once you understand how to write, you should be able to write, and also you can account for all the electrons present in the entire molecule, and also you can correlate with this one with other bonding models we have used in the past. So, let me write one more important molecule MO diagram for, that is SF6. So, SF6, if you just recall the explanation of bonding in SF6 using VSEPR theory or valence bond theory. So, VSEPR theory, we were giving a geometry of octahedral where 6 electrons from 6 fluorine atoms and 6 electrons from the valence orbital of sulfur, 12 electrons will make 6 bonded pair, and these bonded pairs are directed towards the 6 corners of an octahedron. So, it has a octahedral geometry. So, now let us look into the explanation using molecular orbital theory, how these electrons are arranged here. Three S, 3p and 3d. Okay, 5. So, of course, they have T2G and EG symmetry, and they have T1U symmetry, and this one is A1G symmetry. Okay. So, that is not important here, and now we are using again 6 fluorine orbitals we are considering. So, now I am not considering all again, very similar to what I did in case of BF3. Just for the explanation, I am considering only 6 orbitals that are participating in bonding. So, remaining will remain as non-bonding. So, here essentially this represent the fluorine orbital having 1 electron in the 2p. Okay. So, that means we have 2s to 2p5, that I am considering only that one. Okay. So, now here the first one, and then we have T1u, and then we have here 2, and then this essentially remains, and then we have 2, 3 and 1. So, here okay, and then 3, okay. So, now we can place the electrons here. We have here 6 electrons and 6 electrons are there. I can place here 6 electrons here, and so total of 12 electrons are placed here. So, that means here if you just look into atomic orbitals of S, atomic orbitals of F, and this is molecular orbitals of SF6. Okay. So, if you just see here, the energy of 3D orbitals are too high to interact with f orbitals. So, that essentially it indicates d orbitals are not participating in the formation of SF6 molecule, and it is essentially a hypervalent molecule. Okay. And here if you see, these 4 electrons are coming from F, essentially remain as non-bonding here. Okay. So, this is how you can write the structure, whereas in case of valence bond theory, we depicted SF6 having sp3d2 hybridization, and these sp3d2 having 1 electron each will interact with 2p orbital of fluorine to form 6 covalent bonds. They are disposed towards 6 corners of an octahedron. But here if you just look into a MO diagram, the energy of 3d orbitals are too high to interact with f orbital. As a result, 4 electrons coming from F having essentially EG symmetry do not really interact with EG of this one, they remain as non-bonding. Okay. So, this is how one can write the MO diagram and compare this with other bonding theories. Okay. So, let us look into ozone molecule, and ozone molecule one can write down the electronic configuration I have shown there. You can see clearly here. Here 6 electrons are there, and it has 4 electrons and 6 electrons. That means, here essentially the octet of these 2 terminal oxygen atoms are satisfied, whereas this one has only 6 electrons. So, here what happens, one of the electron from this one oxygen and another electron from this one essentially getting delocalized over O bond. Okay, and hence it stabilizes. Once you put these 2 electrons here, you can see all 3 oxygen atoms will be having octet. Okay. So, this is how you can write MO diagram. Yeah, you can show the interaction of orbitals to form this kind of 3 center 2 electron bond to satisfy its octet. Okay. So, now let us summarize all the bonding concepts we came across. First, we began with Lewis model. Lewis model gives emphasis for S2p6 electronic configuration, that means octet. Each and every element has a tendency to have main group elements, I am referring to have S2p6 electronic configuration, so that they can have next inert gas electronic configuration, attain their stability. So, the octet model is given important, whereas VSEPR theory gives emphasis for steric number, and steric number is nothing but the number of bonded pairs, but number of lone pairs, and how we essentially we can dispose these steric numbers from the central atom away from each other to minimize interaction. That results in a particular standard geometry, and when we do not consider lone pairs, we get the shape of the molecule. And then valence bond theory talks about hybridization concept. It is fantastic, it can explain everything about a molecule, especially when it comes from the main group elements. Only the problem is with the coordination compounds, where it cannot explain spectral properties, color, magnetic properties and other things, relative strength of the ligands. And molecular orbital theory essentially gives all aspects related to a molecule, that means bond distances, you can talk about bond distances, you can correlate the bond distances and bond strengths and reactivity, magnetic properties without any problem, without any flaw. So, molecular orbital theory is more refined and it is more informative compared to any of the bonding theories we come across. And conceptual steps one can use in bonding can begin from the molecular formula. One should write first molecular formula and then write Lewis structure, and then try to use VSEPR model to predict geometry and shape, then go for valence bond theory using hybridization concept, and then eventually proceed to molecular orbital theory to know more about these molecules. For example, now if I ask a question, why atoms combine? you can say simply to form molecules. And then if I ask again why molecules are formed, because atoms are combined. That means essentially why atoms combine to form molecules. The reason is very simple. Some atoms have a tendency to lose electrons from their valence shell, and some elements have a tendency to gain electrons into their valence shell. That means when they have tendency to lose electrons, they become positively charged, they are called cations. When they have a tendency to gain an electron, essentially they will be having one extra electron, they are called anions, or they form anions, usually non-metals. And once when they have ability to share their valence electrons, they form a covalent bond. So ions formed by main group elements are usually isoelectronic with one of the nearest noble gases. Okay. So now I have given some bond energy for all kind of bonds here. We have ionic bonds, covalent bonds. Again, covalent bonds we have single bond, double bond, triple bond, like we come across in methane, ethylene or alkyne. And again we have hydrogen bond and phosphate bonds in ATP, and also there is some value is also given for human chemical bond. You can see ionic bonds are much more stronger. The energy is anywhere between 700 to 4000 kilojoules per mole, or you can convert that into kilocalories per mole. Essentially 1 kilocalories per mole is equal to 4.1840 kilojoules per mole. I repeat again, 1 kilocalorie per mole is equal to 4.1840 kilojoules per mole. So, you can always use that one for conversion, and single bonds will be having energy anywhere between 200 to 500 kilojoules per mole, whereas double bonds will have anywhere between 500 to 700, and triple bonds have energy between 800 to 1000 kilojoules per mole. And when we look into individual hydrogen bond, anywhere they have energy between bond energy 10 to 40 kilojoules per mole, and phosphate bonds have anywhere between 25 to 60, and human chemical bond also they have given a value, it stays around 7 to 6 kilojoules per mole. Okay. So, now covalent bonds I have shown, two atoms each contribute one electron, both of them share these two electrons. For example, you can see covalent molecules such as F2, and again when we make covalent bond we have polar covalent bond as well as non-polar covalent bond, and if the electronegativity difference between the two atoms is minimum, or in case of homodiatomic molecule it is essentially non-polar covalent bond. When the electronegativity difference is larger, that results in polar covalent bond, and if it is too much larger, then that results in ionic bonding. So, those are the three category of bonding I have shown here in this one. So, non-polar covalent bonds equal sharing, and polar covalent bond unequal sharing. This happens when the electronegativity difference is marginal or little more, and whereas ionic bond transfer of electron, it happens between the most electronegative elements with most electropositive elements. That means alkaline earth metals or alkaline metals with halides is an ideal example for them. And then I have also listed some bond energies here, bond enthalpies in this table. You can see here lot of interesting data is available. We shall discuss all these things as and when we come across, when I start discussing the chemistry of main group elements group wise. Once the bonding concept is over, now more or less I have completed the structure and bonding concepts. In my next lecture, I will be discussing about the chemistry of hydrogen. Once that is done, I will be proceeding to the chemistry of main group elements by group wise, that is alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, then group 13 elements, like that I continue until I complete group 18, that is inert gas chemistry. So, let me stop at this juncture, and I wish you a pleasant chemistry reading. Thank you very much.